welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we got a fun one for you. I am going to reveal some closely guarded secrets. I know here in recent years some of the younger crowd have been starting to let more and more information out. Back when I was younger, some of this information the old guys kept very, very quiet. This here is our most recent purchase. It is a 5-horse Sattley, which is designed by Field and Brundage, and it has some tinkering that needs done. It does run. It took some tinkering to get it to run, but it doesn't run quite right. It takes forever to get up to speed, and it doesn't like to coast. It wants to fire quite a bit, and we're going to take a look at that, see if we can remedy that, and I'm going to show you guys a few tips and tricks on how to get an engine slowed down, how to quiet it down, and stuff like that. Now, for some reason, with all the weird things that are going on with this engine, I have not been able to figure out why it starts so easy, which is a good thing, but it's just kind of odd because there is a number of issues that are compounding each other. So we're going to go ahead and start it up here and take a listen, and then we'll go into depth on what I think is going on. So we got up to speed pretty quick on this one. Sometimes they're better than others. Sometimes it fires quite a bit just to get to speed to make it miss. But as you can see, it's trying to fire quite a bit. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I mean, overall, I really do like this engine, but there's some room for some improvement. We'll go ahead and shut it down and we'll take a closer look. So as it's winding down, there are a few factors that I take into account when I look for an engine or I say an engine is running quote unquote good. Okay, usually people are after a nice, slow-running engine that's quiet. Okay, that is a big point. That is quiet, and I mean mechanically quiet, not so much exhaust, but mechanically it's not as noisy as some other engines out there. So a lot of making an engine run good has to do with the engine you start with and the quality of the machine work. Now, almost all mass-produced hit-and-miss engines can be made to run extremely well in their own right. But in my opinion, comparatively, there are some that run better than others. And this is one of them compared to something, say, like a Hercules. Now, I have a Hercules, and I absolutely love it. But there's one thing that I cannot stand, and almost every Hercules shares the same issue. And that is the gear ring. It absolutely drives me nuts that the governor gear and the cam gear ring pretty much all the time because there is a huge amount of lash in them. On the other hand of that, okay, back to different engines will run better than others. An engine with a longer stroke will usually be a little bit quieter than an engine with a shorter stroke. And that is because the piston is not changing direction as fast, so it doesn't create as much mechanical noise. But the vast majority of mechanical noise from any of these engines will be either gear lash or pushrod noise. And the gear lash, there's not much we can do about that. But as for the rest of it, for pushrod noise and stuff like that, we can absolutely remedy a few things. And that's what we're going to take a look at. So as for this engine needing some help to run right, as in getting that nice crisp fire and then having it actually coast, we're going to check a few things first. First off, I want to check my ignition timing. We're going to shut our switch and stuff off over here. We don't need it. We're going to check our ignition timing. So it is right on or just a hair past top dead center, which quite honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot that's wrong with that. I may advance it back just a little bit. Some of these engines like more timing than others. My 6-horse Fairbanks does not like to run right unless it is timed back here just before top dead center. It does not like the delay. Just the nature of the beast sometimes. So we know our ignition timing is good or pretty close to the way we want. There's something else we're going to check. When this engine fires, it doesn't fire real hard. And yes, some of that can do with timing, but other times the exhaust valve could be out of time. We're going to check that right here. Usually as your crank drops and the piston starts to go back in, right as this crankshaft drops, is when you want the valve to be coming off the seat. Now, if you look back here, there is quite a bit of tension on that exhaust valve. We got tension right in there. And our crankshaft is pretty far back in its rotation. So I think we're going to have to adjust that. If we roll around here and look at our governor spring. Now this is the tinkering that I had to do to get this engine to run at all in the first place. I had to back these adjusting nuts all the way off. This spring is extremely heavy. I can't hardly pull that with my hand, let alone that weight trying to pull that spring. That's going to have to get replaced. And then also, you can hear the push rod slap a little bit. They have a heavy spring in there pulling that push rod back. This right here is the one thing that I see that is the most common issue with somewhat of a noisy engine. People put massive springs here thinking they need it. You need just enough tension to return the push rod, because the valve spring will help, but you need just enough to return it and set everything, the roller, back against the cam. Okay, when you start putting too much tension on that, that's where you get that slap from, because it slams the push rod back into the cam gear. So let's tear into trying to fix this exhaust timing. Now, most of these engines are adjustable here. I'm gonna put you guys back on the tripod. Most engines out there have some sort of adjustment right here on the end of the push rod. Right there. Now, usually, the push rod here is not mechanically connected. There would be some sort of screw, and that screw would change the length here and just shove against the push rod. This one's actually pinned together, and our adjustment is here. So we're going to take this pin out, and we're going to back this in just a little bit and see what that does. First, we got to get our cotter pin out. Sometimes that's easier said than done, especially with that small of one. Have to get a knife or something behind it. There we go. Now we should be able to pinch it together. Get this out. Pop our pin. Come on. Grab a screwdriver. Knock our pin out. Now, I don't want to go too much here. These threads are fairly coarse, so a little bit of adjustment is going to go a long way on this. I think I'm going to start with half a turn. Yep. We're going to have to drop our rocker arm off as well. I was hoping I had enough room behind me to get it out of the way, but I do not. It's all right. Rocker arm has a cotter pin as well. And then it should, there we go. Okay. Well, there's more room there than I thought. I stand corrected. We can put a rocker arm back in. This is one of them things where you kind of got to be a little bit adaptable, because every engine is slightly different, but they all have their own personalities and slight design characteristics or changes. I know, I'm using the wrong tool for the right reasons here. It's fine. Okay, we're gonna see if we can make this adjustment. I may, oh no, it's gonna be loose. All right, we're gonna go half a turn first and see what that does. Now, I'm gonna drop this pin in from the top. Just to test it. Ignition. Still got lash. Still got lash. Still got lash. Ooh, we're getting better. I think we need one more half a turn though. Pop our pin back out. Another half a turn. So our original top side is facing back up now. Ignition. All right, crankshaft is straight up. Still have lash, still have lash. Right at back dead center, it's starting to put tension on that. I think we're gonna call that good, because I think any more delay and it's gonna be too late. I'd rather it be just a hair early. So that's good. That means we can fully reassemble this. Flip my pin back over to the way it was, just in case there's a weird wear pattern going on. Put our cotter pin back in. Like so. Bend it out. Okay, we should be good there. Now, we're gonna advance our timing here just a little bit. Now, our timing is changed by sliding this trip down this push rod, and there's a lock nut or a lock bolt right there. We're gonna loosen that and slide this ahead just a little bit. Alrighty, we moved it just a smidge. That probably didn't show up on camera, but it did change back here. I revealed a little bit of rust where it didn't get painted. But let's go ahead and start her back up and see how we did here. Let's just see what those two adjustments got us. Alrighty, well, it's a little bit better. The exhaust is a little bit crisper. It's not breathing quite as much out the exhaust when it fires, but we still have some adjustments to make. So let's keep on going. I think I'm going to adjust the timing a little bit, and then we're going to start messing with governor springs. We're going to go ahead and give her just a little bit more timing here. We're going to advance this just a little further. There we go. She's probably firing right at her, a little bit before top dead center now. Now we're going to go ahead and play with this governor spring, because this governor spring is way too heavy. Go ahead and take my adjusting nut loose, my lock nut, then take our thumb screw loose. We'll drop our rod out, take our spring off. I'm going to go over here to my spring collection and let's see if we can get a weaker spring on this thing. Okay, got our spring off. We're going to make our new one. We're going to measure just a little bit. So I'm going to put the adjusting rod back in, and I want to know about where. So you see here, governor's down, and I'm about halfway in the adjustment to my thread, so I have room in either direction, which is about where I want to be, but I'm going to lean toward the outside because I can always make it tighter. Once you get to a certain point, you can't get any looser. Spring there. Spring there. And then we can put our, wherever it went, it's over here, our thumb screw and our lock bolt. Our lock nut back on. going to be a little bit of trial and error. This spring may not be heavy enough for this engine. We'll have to find that out. For now, I'm not even going to put the lock bolt on it. Let's get this power back, start it up, see what that's doing. Oh, yep, might be a little too light. Oh, it hit. Now that right there is some progress. That is some major progress. Got a good crisp fire, and she's idling pretty slow. Now this is the point where, because it's not spinning as fast, the cam quiets down just a little bit because it doesn't hit as hard. So right at the moment, I don't think changing the return spring on the push rod is 100% necessary. I'm extremely happy with this, but in the future, I probably will change it just because there could be a lot of wear there, especially on that small point in that eye hook, with all that tension on it. But that right there is a win, and we've been at this, what, for a half an hour, start to finish? That is a pretty good result. Alrighty guys, we're back. I've done a little tinkering off camera. Now, I said a little bit ago that I didn't think changing the pushrod return spring was necessary at this point, and it wasn't, but I went ahead and changed it anyway. And we made a couple other modifications, try to quiet the clanginess down a little bit. So this is one of them things. I'm going to pick up my return spring here real quick. This is one of them things that people really keep on the down low to try to quiet the noise. So when we run it, you could hear, sounded like metal on metal contact, which was this weight, the governor weight, hitting the adjustment point up here on the flywheel with this bolt. Now, if you see, there's actually a little gray pad right there. And also, now, if we take this off, there are two more underneath. This should reduce our noise by quite a bit, if not completely eliminate it. So I'm gonna put you guys back in the tripod here. We've already got it running good. I slowed it down just a little bit more while I was messing with it. But let's put our springs back in and see how we did. Now them pads, them little rubber pads or foam pads did add some thickness, so they may change how our governor acts just a little. So we're gonna have to do some tinkering. And there we go. Now almost all of the chatter is gone. All you can hear is that little bit of rod knock that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and just the ever so slight push rod slap. Give her a little bit more fuel. Uh-oh. I hear a little bit of that. I wonder if we threw a pad out of it. Yeah, we could have. All right, let's shut it down and see what happened. I'm gonna guess we threw the pad off of the adjuster. Either that or it's this outer section of the governor right here. Let's see what happened. We did not lose our pad, it just beat the living thunder out of it. Alrighty, well, we're gonna fix that. I will put 2 in it this time. Give us a little more material to work with, because it will flatten it as it swings. 2 really could mess with some things, so we'll have to be a little bit careful here. Doesn't look like 2's gonna stick to each other. Alright, I think we're just gonna have to live with it for now. At least with that part of things. We could have some side-to-side action going on as well. Let's put one out there too. Just be safe. Now this we will have to compensate for, because this will change our speed. Maybe. Back the spring tension off a little bit for that. Alright. See what we got. Yeah, I think it was our problem. It just flattened our little dot. We may have to put a rubber one there. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and we can try that. So this, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, just a little rubber version of the same thing. The other ones were foam. The rubber ones tend to not stick quite as well, but they don't crush like the foam does over time. And there we go. I think we can call that a complete success. But these things are amazing. You can get these at Walmart. These are the rubber ones. I got a variety pack with the rubber and the foam. You can get them at Walmart, Lowe's, what have you. This particular brand is called Super Sliders. If you guys want to look into getting them. But yeah, now we have almost no mechanical noise. And by the way, just in case anybody was wondering, this is the spring that was on the push rod to return it. Like, that is as far as I can stretch it. That is really, really stiff. We can see there's the new spring. Yes, it's stretched out a little bit, but you can see the coils don't come all the way up into here. There's just a little bit of tension on it. It's a way softer spring. So with that, guys, with everything that we've done and we've been through, we're less than 40 minutes in total. Taking an engine that didn't run that great, that was showable and okay, but wasn't that great, to something that people will talk about. So hopefully somebody out there found some of this information helpful. But with that being said, guys, I'm done for the evening, and we will catch you guys on the next one.